So to make my pattern for this robe, I use two pre-made patterns. I use the Vogue one, which you can see me showing you here, and I use one that I also purchased from Etsy. I will leave both of them linked in the description bar if you want to purchase it yourselves. I use the top half, which is just about to the waist of the Vogue one, and then I use the bottom half of the Etsy one just because I don't like the armholes and the sleeves of the Etsy one. I prefer the Vogue one, and the Vogue one is just like a basic kind of like pajama kind of robe, whereas the Etsy one's like a really extra long one. So I'm going to show you in the next clip how I use the top half of the Vogue one and then the bottom half of the Etsy one. I add a flare to my sleeve just to make it extra dramatic. So I basically just draft a circle skirt pattern to make the flare. I take the measurement of the sleeve opening, and mine's about 55 centimeters, and here you can just see me taking a piece of paper and folding it in half, and then I fold it in half again, and then I just go on the internet, I find a circle skirt calculator, I put in the measurement that I've taken from around my sleeve, and my sleeve opening is about 55 centimeters, so you can just see me putting it in here in this clip, 55 centimeters, and then I want my flare to be about 25 centimeters long. That depends on you, you can make it longer or shorter depending on what you want. So from the point at the top of the piece of paper, I measure down the 6.75 centimeters that we got from our calculator, and then I just make the points as you can see, and then I connect all the points, and then it kind of makes a shape that's kind of like quarter of a circle. And then from that point, from the line that I'm going to be drawing now, I measure down 25 centimeters, in the same kind of movement that I did for the top one. Then I connect all those dots, and then I come up with a shape that you're going to see when I finish off, so you can just see me quickly running through it here, and then I'll show you the shape that I end up with. And then I attach this shape to the bottom of my sleeve, and it just makes that extra flare that is really nice and dramatic when you take pictures. You can see me here just demonstrating the fact that I push the fabric together just so that that top area can have like a gathered effect, because I feel like it just looks nicer. So here I'm just showing you how I fold the fabric to make the shapes that we need to make the ruffles. We need rectangle shapes, so I just fold it as much as possible, and then I go ahead and use my electric scissors to cut the shapes that we need. My rectangles are about 6 inches wide, so that's why I use that template that I just made, because it's exactly 6 inches, and this is what you should end up with. To sew the ruffles, you set your sewing machine to the longest stitch length and also the highest tension. Then you take the rectangular shapes that we have cut out, and then you sew it right down the middle. Once you have sewn it down the middle, I'll show you what to do in the next clip to ensure that you get the ruffles that you need. So I use French seams to close off my raw edges. You sew wrong sides together at first with a straight stitch, then you flip over the fabric, and then you sew another straight stitch, and that hides all of your raw edges, and it just looks nice and clean. You're going to see it in the next clip. So do this for your shoulder seams, do it for your sleeves, do it for basically all the seams of the robe, and it just gives it a really nice finish. Now you just sew the ruffles at the 1 centimeter seam allowance that we have on our pattern. Use a bit of tape to just elongate it, because the ruffles are just going to cover the seam allowance that's actually on the plate of the sewing machine, and keep lifting up your ruffles to make sure that you are still sewing the 1 centimeter seam allowance. Take your time when you're doing this. So you're going to sew the ruffles along the outside of the robe and along the flare that we made for the sleeves as well. Bear in mind you do need a lot of these ruffles, so once you feel like you've made enough, make some more, because I usually do 2 rows of the ruffles just to make it extra poofy. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And there we have it. We've got our tulle robe that is perfect for maternity shoots, birthday shoots, you name it. It looks gorgeous.